Good evening. It's the 5th day of January 2021. The time is 6:30. We'd like to begin our city council meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you would rise and join us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ask our city clerk to do roll call.
Harrington.
Here.
McKinney. Absent. O'Doherty.
Here.
Pierce.
Here.
Schuster.
Here.
Stalder.
Here.
Weaver.
Here.
Sorry, Weaver, can you say that one more time? I couldn't hear you.
Here.
Gabriel.
Here.
Shumway.
Here.
That's 8 present and 1 absent, Your Honor.
All right. This time we'd like to take public comments on non-agenda items. We have 30 minutes if it's necessary. Each individual will have 3 minutes to make comments. So I'd ask our public if they would like to make comments at this time, please go ahead.
I see none, Mayor.
Okay. So we will end the public comment period, and I'd like to now turn it over to our Vice Mayor Gabriel, to make motions, if necessary, on considerations of changes to the agenda and setting the agenda.
Thank you, Mayor. I would move that the agenda be set as submitted.
Second.
Been moved and seconded by Councilor Schuster that we set the agenda. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Okay, our agenda is set. We don't have any proclamations, public hearings, or presentations, but we do have, I think, an announcement from our city manager. City Manager Jordan.
Thank you, Mayor. Tonight we wanted to take a few moments to recognize our let me get my mic on, and I'll start over. Tonight we wanted to take a few moments to recognize our 2 outgoing council members for their service to the community. Our first person to recognize tonight is Councilor Charles McKinney, and unfortunately, Councilor McKinney could not be with us this evening. I do want to note, though, that Councilor McKinney began his term in 2017, serving for a total of 4 years. Mr. McKinney has been the City Council's liaison on several boards, including the Laramie Rifle Range, the Building, Fire, and Code Board of Appeals, and the Board of Health. There have been many evenings that Charles literally was sort of blown into council chambers from working all day outside in a brutal winter storm, and we very much appreciate his willingness to serve the community, and we want to let him know we'll miss his probing questions that keep us all on our toes. Mr. McKinney was able to come in and get his plaque recognizing his service earlier this week, and so we want to be sure to thank Charles McKinney for 4 years of service on the City Council as an elected official for Laramie. Thank you so much. Very good. And then, of course, we have Mayor Joe Shumway to recognize, and this may take just a minute because we are looking back over 21 years of service to Laramie and its residents. Mayor Shumway was elected originally in 1998 and sworn in for his first term in January of 99, serving, of course, through this evening. He did take a short 2-year break from City Council from 2003 to 4. Mr. Shumway served 2 terms as mayor in his 21 years, The first time from 2001 to 2, and then of course the last 2 years. Joe led the council through some pretty challenging times as mayor. He was mayor when the horrific tragedy of 9/11 occurred, and then of course this year during the COVID-19 pandemic. Mr. Shumway has been an active participant representing Laramie at the National League of Cities. He's served on steering committees for small cities policy and also on the Public Safety Steering Committee, and for a time was the chair of the Small Cities National League of Cities Subcommittee. Over the 21 years, Joe served by best count as we can measure on every one of the city's boards and commissions at one time or another. And I wanted to mention that, you know, he does have a personal life and some free time apparently, despite all of that. He's served the community through many other avenues, serving for the county chair for his party, 20 years on the Interfaith Board of Directors, on the ARC Regional Services Board, acted as president of the Senior Housing Board, the Boy Scouts of America Regional Board of Directors, and last but not least, the PTA at Linford Elementary. Mr. Shumway's been appointed by the governor over these years to serve on the University of Wyoming Housing Committee, on the STEM Engineering Committee, and also on the Art and Science Planning Groups. So I think I'll speak for many people when I say how much we've appreciated and will miss Joe's solid and measured leadership. And we want to thank you so much for your dedication, Mayor Shumway. And present you with your plaque recognizing your outstanding service to the residents of Laramie. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And that with that, we'll let you preside over your final meeting.
All right, thank you very much. And before we go on with the agenda, I'll just say this, it's been an honor. The next thing we have is, are there any disclosures by anyone on the city council that would like to disclose any conflicts of interest that they may have on the consent or the regular agenda on this first agenda, which we have with the outgoing council members? Okay, seeing none, I'll turn this back to our vice mayor to take us through the approval of the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mayor. I would move that the consent agenda be approved, that each specific action on the consent agenda be approved as indicated.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded by Councilor Harrington, I believe. Could we have a roll call from our city clerk?
Harrington,
Yes.
McKinney, absent. O'Doherty,
Yes.
Pierce,
Yes.
Schuster,
Yes.
Stalder,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Gabriel,
Yes.
Shumway.
Yes.
That's 8 yeses, 0 nos, and 1 absent, Your Honor.
Okay, our consent agenda has been approved. On the regular agenda, we have item number 11. Councilor Schuster.
Thank you. The title is Budget Amendments for Fiscal Year 2020 and 21, COVID-19 Emergency Expenditures. I move to approve Resolution 2021-01, transferring unencumbered or expedited appropriation balances from one fund to another and amending appropriations for the fiscal year 2020 and 2021 budget of the City of Laramie, Wyoming, and authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded by Vice Mayor Gabriel. Who will be introducing? Jennifer Wade. Is Jennifer on with us?
Yep, she's online with
Jennifer, welcome. And could you just introduce this to us?
Of course. Thank you, Mayor. Honorable Mayor and City Councilors, I'm presenting for your consideration this evening what we expect to be the final budget amendment related to COVID-19 emergency expenditures. As a reminder, we're presenting these budget amendments separately as a way to increase transparency for our emergency expenditures. The amendment you're being asked to approve this evening totals $1,169,100. And all but $6,500 of that amendment is in governmental funds. There is $6,500 that we are recommending for the wastewater fund. of the $1,162,600 we're recommending for governmental funds, $1 million is for an increase in the support transfer to the Recreation Center Fund. We have not adjusted the Recreation Center support transfer from the general fund since the pandemic began. And as you all know, the Recreation Center has felt the effects of the pandemic, as many local businesses have. We applied for coronavirus relief grant funding for the Recreation Center and were awarded almost $420,000. Much of that was for personnel. We decided, as a matter of administrative convenience, to transfer that funding to another application to reduce our burden for drawdowns. But the city was originally awarded funding for the Recreation Center. We've known that an additional transfer would be necessary for quite some time. And we feel that we are able to assess the financial of the condition of the fund well enough at this point to make a recommendation of $1 million to you. This transfer should allow for an amount of fund balance, a healthy amount, to be remaining at fiscal year end. And rest assured that we will be looking at Recreation Center operations very closely during the upcoming 2022 budget preparation cycle with City Manager Jordan, Assistant City Manager Todd Fieser, and Recreation Manager Jody Guerin. The rest of this budget amendment, $169,100, are for expenditures that we all would consider fairly standard in terms of pandemic response these days, things like PPE, sanitation items, and facility modifications. At this time, I would love to open it up for any questions you may have.
Thank you. Questions? All right, any questions or comments from the public? Any comments from the council before we vote?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Councilor Pierce? Oh, no, Councilor Doherty, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Ms. Wade for this very clear presentation, how everything was broken down. I think it really helps for transparency, so I appreciate the detail in that report. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? City Clerk, can we have roll call?
O'Doherty.
Yes.
Schuster.
Yes.
Stalder.
Yes.
Weaver.
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
McKinney. Absent. Pierce.
Yes.
Gabriel.
Yes?
Shumway.
Yes.
That's 8 yeses, 0 nos, and 1 absent, Your Honor.
Okay. Item number 11, the budget amendments for the COVID-19 emergency expenditures has passed. We now go to item number 12, Councilor Harrington.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that council accept the memorandum of understanding, hereafter referred to as MOU, between the Albany County Sheriff's Office and the Laramie Police Department, and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign.
Second.
Been moved and seconded by Councilor Schuster. Who will be in?
Mayor, this is Chief Stalder.
Chief Stalder, go ahead.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, this is largely a procedural matter. By Wyoming state statute, we're required to execute a new memorandum of understanding when either a sheriff or a chief comes into office. With the appointment last month of Sheriff Applehans, we need to re-execute this MOU for mutual aid, which allows primarily the police department to go out into the county because the sheriff's department has countywide jurisdiction. So this is largely procedural per state statute, but I'd answer any questions if you have them. Thanks.
Thank you. Questions for our chief? Any questions from the public or comments from the public regarding this memorandum of understanding between the city and this county's sheriff's department, the city police in this city. I don't see any, so we'll go back to the council. First of all, I would like to welcome Sheriff Appelhans and look forward to the city working with the county in this area. It's always been something we've worked very well together, and I'm sure that will happen in the future. Council, any comments or anything else before we vote? I don't see any hands, so City Clerk, could we have roll call?
Weaver,
Yes.
Pierce,
Yes.
Schuster,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
McKinney, absent, O'Doherty,
Yes.
Stalder,
Yes.
Gabriel,
Yes?
Shumway.
Yes.
That's 8 yeses, 0 nos, and 1 absent, Your Honor.
All right, so that agreement has been approved by this vote on the council. The next item is item number 13, Councilor O'Doherty.
I recommend that the city council, or I don't know, I guess I'm making a motion that the city council deny request by Roxy's Catering LLC, special malt beverage, permit number special 4, located at the UW Arena Auditorium, to have this year's liquor license suspended as of January 5th, and to transfer or refund the $2,000 liquor license fee to the next year's special malt beverage permit fees upon receipt of application for the May 8th, 2021 to May 7th, 2022 license year, based on no provision in the Wyoming state statute to constitute the allowance for transfer or refund of an issued or used liquor license.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded by Councilor Pierce. City Clerk Bartholomew, do you want to go through the introduction of this item for the council?
Absolutely, Mayor. Mayor and Council, a request was received in the City Clerk's office on December 17th from Roxy's Catering LLC to refund or transfer the $2,000 liquor license fee from this year's liquor license at the Arena Auditorium due to the cancellation of spectators for the remainder of the basketball season in response to COVID-19. In statute, which was provided, it does specify that no refunds are allowed on issued licenses. However, it does not provide any direction as far as transfer of fees. However, in my conversations with the Liquor Division and their conversations with the Attorney General, they pointed out that in no liquor license year is there ever a guarantee for any liquor license as to how much business they will be able to complete in that license year. Their recommendation was to deny this request for refund due to state statute and deny it the transfer request. If the council were to agree to refund part or all of the $2,000 liquor license fee for this year, there could be potential that you may receive additional requests for this liquor license year. And it could potentially open up other municipalities in the state for loss as well.
Okay, thank you for that. Are there any questions for our city clerk regarding this request and the motion to deny? Councilor Stalder.
Thank you, Mayor. So by voting yes on this, we would say no, like we're denying a refund or a transfer. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Anyone else? Any questions? Okay, Counselor Weaver?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. I just want to make sure that I understood the explanation about the statutory provisions correctly. So please bear with me, everyone. State statute does not outline a provision for any type of year-to-year rollover for any type of a liquor license for a special event or a catering event. I think I heard that explanation. And then I believe I also heard the city clerk share with us that because there is no annual guarantee of any form for any applicant for that type of license, to commit to one in a future year isn't provided for anywhere in any of the guidelines from either the state liquor administration or in state statute. Was that the correct interpretation of the explanation I heard from the city clerk, Mr. Mayor? That's my question.
City Clerk, is that accurate?
Councilor Weaver, could you repeat the last part of that? The rest of it, I would say yes, that was a total correct interpretation. I just missed that last part.
The guidelines from the state liquor administration don't have anything outlined procedurally that offers any guidance to the city in terms of how we would grant a rollover into the next year for a catering permit like the one that we've issued to Roxy's for the last several years. There's just nothing there that allows for that.
Sorry, that is correct, Councilor Weaver.
And what is the guideline that we're using to determine that fees for those applications can't be returned? I just think it would be good for us to hear that one more time. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That's it. Well,
Okay,
for me.
City Clerk?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I was going to, if you look at your cover sheet, Wyoming Statute 12-4-105, disposition of license fees, refunds prohibited. It states all fees for licenses and permits issued by the licensing authority paid under this title shall be deposited into the treasury of the licensing authority. No refund of all or any part of the license fee shall be made at any time following issuance. So that statute is the reference that we are using in saying that we cannot issue a return or a refund. It is up to the council if you want to transfer the fees as you did with the football stadium special malt beverage permit. The difference between these two requests was that the stadium request was received before the license was used. In that case, the Attorney General felt that it was up to the council as to whether they wanted to transfer those fees to the next license term, as the license had not been utilized at that point. In this case, they have used the license for the first part of the basketball season, so it does differ on that level. I hope that clarifies, Councilor Weaver.
Mr. Mayor, through you, thank you. Yes, I think we just needed to get just a little bit more unpacking on where we were getting our guidance from on those two things. And thanks again, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, City Clerk.
Councilor Schuster?
Thank you. My question is is when they apply for this, do they apply for an individual game or do they apply for the season?
When they apply for a special malt beverage permit, Counselor Schuster, they are applying for the licensed year, which is May 8th of one year into May 7th of the following year. So the license before you is May 8th of 2020 to May 7th of 2021.
Can I have one additional?
Go ahead, Counselor Schuster.
Thank you. So in this, if for the basketball season opens up to a minimal amount of public, they could still then sell their malt beverage at those games.
They could.
Okay, thank you very much.
Any other questions for our city clerk? Any questions or comments from the general public? Comments from the council before we vote? Councilor O'Doherty?
I have sympathy for for Roxy's, but I think it's pretty clear statute, and I think that they should take it up with the state legislature. Thank you.
Any other comments? Councilor Stalder?
Yeah, this is really unfortunate, and we talk, every meeting about small businesses and how much they're suffering, and this just seems kind of rough. We just passed a budget amendment of over $1 million in support of COVID-19, and $2,000 to a small business is a big deal. So it's really unfortunate.
Thank you. Any other comments? Councilor Schuster?
Thank you. And I agree with basically what was said. And I know we could do a portion if we wanted to. So in my statement here, I'm going to vote no on this. And if it gets defeated, I will promote that it be brought back with a percentage transferred to the next season, but not all of it. Because we'll have to determine how many games they could be open and then figure that out on a percentage on what it could be. So I will be voting no on this because I agree with everybody. This COVID is nothing out of the normal. I mean, I keep hearing people saying the new normal. This is not the new normal. It will be gone someday. We will defeat it and we will have a normal. But right now, we have to bend and everything else to try to keep people here. We've already lost the Crow Bar, and they don't think they're going to reopen. They might still, but they don't think they will. Businesses are closing because of this. Thank you.
Thank you. Other comments from council? City Clerk, would you do a roll call? Just a reminder, a yes is to deny, a no is to
Do something else.
To approve the refund.
approve the refund of the money in a portion. Okay, roll call.
McKinney, absent. O'Doherty,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
Pierce,
Yes.
Schuster,
No.
Stalder,
No.
Weaver,
Yes.
Gabriel,
Yes.
Shumway.
Yes.
That's 6 yeses, 2 nos, and 1 absent, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Could you repeat the vote on that?
The vote was 6 yeses, 2 nos, and 1 absent, Your Honor.
Okay, even if there were 3, it's defeated,
That's
so.
defeated, yeah.
So anyway, then the denial has been approved. Item number 15, Councilor Weaver. Oh, I'm sorry, item number 14, Councilor Vice Mayor Gabriel.
Thank you, Mayor. I would move that the city council deny the request by Hensley Property Holdings LLC, doing business as Roxy's on Grand, to transfer or refund the liquor license fees related to retail liquor license number 4 for license year 2020, based on no provision in Wyoming state statute that constitutes the allowance for transfer or refund of fees associated with an unused or utilized liquor license.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded by Councilor Harrington. City Clerk, would you
Thank you,
cover
Mayor.
this?
On December 17th, 2020, a request was received in the city clerk's office from Hensley Property Holdings LLC, doing business as Roxy's on Grand, retail liquor license number 4. Similar to the last request, they requested a refund or transfer of the $1,500 liquor license fee. This request was made due to COVID-19 mandated closures and limited hours. Wyoming statute 12-4-105, as read in the last item, no refund of any or all part of the license fee shall be made at any time following issuance, is the reason that we cannot issue a refund on this liquor license request. I did ask Roxy Hensley if they were planning to close their doors for future business, and she indicated that they were not planning to close their doors. This same scenario or similar scenario applies to this license that applied to the last license. This license has been utilized since issuance on May 8th of this license year, and they plan to use it through May 7th. So this one is a little different, but also the same. It has been utilized. Again, there is no provision made in state statutes as to what any liquor license year will look like for license holders. With that, Mayor, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Questions from council. Councilor Harrington?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. City Clerk, is this is pertaining to their storefront at 3rd and Grand, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Doherty?
I'm wondering, I can't remember how the license fees are determined. Would we have the ability next year to lower the fees in order to help out these businesses, as opposed to giving a refund now, since we legally can't do that the way I read the statute? Could we lower the license fee for businesses for next year? Would that be possible? Thank you.
City Clerk?
Mayor, the council can revisit their resolution that sets their fees. Then the fees just need to be within the state statute limitations.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
How,
you.
may I ask a follow-up?
Go ahead.
And the state statute limitations, how close are we to the minimum required to?
On a few of the licenses, Mayor, in council, we are close to the maximum, and some are more varied and stuff, so we are more on the lower end of those fees. So we could certainly look at that and send you a summary of where we sit within those ranges right now.
Thank you.
Other questions of Vice Mayor Gabriel?
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate what Councilor O'Doherty brought up. I think that since we are kind of hamstruck right here, we can't really do anything according to statute, that we should, especially with COVID going on, take a look at some of these fees, and in particular, what Roxy's been going through. With no fans allowed at the basketball games for a time, you know, they might be coming back, but, you know, that's not pertaining to this. We're talking about her business, but I think overall, if we take a look at some of these fees coming up, I think that would be more than fair to some of these businesses. Thank you.
Thank you. Other questions? Questions or comments from the public? City Clerk, do you see anyone in the public with questions? Yeah.
I do not, Mayor.
Okay. Council comments before we vote on this item. Councilor Harrington.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A few items of importance, I think, relating to this, sort of on the periphery. While maybe the council itself may be unable to grant this request and it may be a more legislative issue, I would mention that every downtown eatery in the last week has been eligible for a grant program. So that's every coffee shop, every bar, restaurant, Roxy's included. And that is a $1,500 grant, no strings attached. So that was a combination between the Main Street Alliance and the United Way of Albany County. So I would just note that. Also, there was a governor's, a fund was created through the CARES Act recently to offset the implications of the most recent closures. So, you know, and then I think finally the third piece would be, we all created a fund for this exact reason that lives at the chamber. So if the folks at Hensley Properties haven't exhausted those opportunities, I would encourage them to do so to sort of offset the consequence of this.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Councilor Doherty.
And along those lines, I would also recommend that we consider lowering fees for the next year and perhaps ask the legislature if they could give us some more leeway there. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Other comments from the council? Okay, let's go ahead and vote. Just before we do, Councilor Weaver.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just quickly, it does seem to me that the ability to allow fees to roll over if licenses are granted would make sense. I can understand that we can't guarantee that a license will be permitted because who knows what will happen between now and then. But if the business is still in existence and still licensed, perhaps it makes sense to be able to roll fees over. It seems like those two things could be separated out, but I think we're all on the same page with that. So thanks for giving me the 30 seconds, Mr. Mayor, but I totally agree. Those amounts, it seems like there could be a fix for that. Thanks.
Thank you. City Clerk, could we have a roll call?
Weaver,
Yes.
Stalder,
Yes.
Schuster,
Yes.
Pierce,
Yes.
O'Doherty,
Yes.
McKinney, absent. Harrington,
Yes.
Gabriel,
Yes.
Shumway.
Yes.
That's 8 yeses, 0 nos, and 1 absent, Your Honor.
All right. Item number 13, or item number 14 has passed. And we now go to item number 15, Councilor Weaver.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that the council approve the contract for construction manager at risk services between the city of Laramie, Wyoming and Richardson Construction Incorporated for improvements at the Laramie Community Recreation Center related to the COVID-19 pandemic in an amount not to exceed $653,180.49 and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded by Councilor Pierce. Assistant City Manager Todd Feaser is here to introduce this to us.
Honorable Mayor, thank you. I'm actually going to turn this over to Jody Guerin, Recreation Manager, very quickly, so she can explain the process and the project that we have ahead of you. But this project is in response to COVID-19 and the pandemic crisis. It was part of our submittals to the state for funding that were not funded through the CARES Act funding, but we do have some funding available to help make this project a success. And everything I've seen does make this better for our patrons and for our staff. So I'll turn it over to Jody Guerin. Thank you.
Welcome, Ms. Guerin.
Thank you. Just briefly, this is a process that we've used in the city of Laramie before, where we have a construction manager at risk. It specifies that there's a cap, and unless we change the scope of the project to add things or something of that nature, that the price, if there are errors in calculations, that those will be borne by the construction manager. We have tonight Brandon Van Tassel from Richardson Construction and also Bob McDonald from Olson Lavoie. And let me just go back and explain a little bit of how we got here. The Olson Lavoie worked with the city, oh gosh, probably a year and a half ago now, maybe 2 years ago, to develop some concept plans when we knew that we had the specific purpose tax funds available. And of course, we outlined probably twice as much as what we can afford in terms of projects. And we thought that then we would go through a process with the public of determining which projects we should prioritize first. These were projects, I guess, similar. They weren't outlined quite like we're outlining them now. We've certainly adapted them with COVID-19, but we were thinking that we would do some things to the Grand Hall to ease patron entrance through the area so that they don't have to stop and wait so long, that we would allow for an entrance directly off the lobby into the pool, and that we would also change our administrative area to allow for better access for our part-time staff into the facility, and also provide for better separation for staff. If any of you have not been in the administrative area, just briefly, we have 5 offices that are enclosed fully, with a door and such. And then we have about that many cubicles as well. And so the cubicles are occupied by full-time staff, not, people who are only there temporarily. And it provides a difficult situation, whether they're trying to meet with staff or have private phone calls. And then with COVID-19, the other problem that it provided in the administrative area is there isn't much separation between workspaces. And, we are doing our best to limit the number of people that are in the building at any given time, but that does create challenges. Additionally, we don't have much in the way of workspace for the kinds of things that we do, other than like computer work. We don't have assembly areas. We only have a small conference room. And so when we get ready for a big event, we are often sprawled all over the place trying to put things together and store things. And honestly, I think sometimes it's probably a safety hazard the way we have things piled up in the hallway. The way we've reconfigured this, it will enhance the number of enclosed offices. It will create some additional workspace that is communal workspace, but large enough that we can, have multiple people working in an area, but not, shoulder to shoulder. It'll provide a small break area that is separate from the conference room, which is good because we won't be eating in the conference room. And it will also provide an access point for our part-time staff to come in the front doors and then go through the administrative area into their workspace instead of having to wait at the front turnstile area for access to the rest of the facility. Patrons will be able to, if they have memberships, swipe a card and go through an automated turnstile system once we get through COVID and we don't have to do reservations the way we are now. And we think that that's going to enhance the ability to social distance. We've also put up some glass barriers between the area where staff will be and the members of the public, so that people will be discouraged from, leaning over in areas that we're not going to be taking care of them, and then they'll be protected in the areas where we should be handling their paperwork. So that's kind of the general information about that. We started actually this process back in July when we led a request for qualifications to the general public, and Richardson was our only submittal, although I went back and reviewed it, and several other contractors were there at our pre-bid meeting. So they chose either to come in as a subcontractor or chose not to bid. Probably, it's not a huge project. It's, a remodel project is much smaller. We were going to try and get it in with the CARES funding and hopefully get it done before the end of the year. But when that funding was denied, we went ahead and slowed down just a little bit so that we weren't under so much pressure. We were finding that costs of materials had increased quite a lot. So that's kind of the general information about how we got to where we are. I know with Bob and Brandon, either one of them could answer any questions you have related to individual parts of the process or, architectural information. And I'd leave it at that and ask if you have any questions.
All right, thank you. Council, do you have any questions for either Bob, Brandon, or Jody regarding this? Let's start, okay, we've got several hands, so let's start with Councilor Doherty, then we'll go to Councilor Harrington. Did we have other hands? Or, okay, let's just go with those. Who else?
So, you ready for me, Mr.
Yes,
Mayor?
go ahead, Councilor Doherty, then we'll try to catch everybody.
So I hope that I saw the information about CO2 and I thought that was brilliant that you all, as usual, the staff is kind of ahead of things and pay attention to things like CO2 so then you know how many people are exhaling in an area. That's pretty cool, but I didn't see, and it is a very long document, so maybe I missed it. We talked about better ventilation systems, and I think that's going to be the key because just having a barrier isn't going to be enough since we're learning that virus is aerosol. So I think of it more like smoke in a room. If you just have a barrier here, you still smell the smoke if somebody's smoking in the next cubicle. So I wonder, does this include some of that, the air handling filtration component? Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead.
I may defer some of this either to the Assistant City Manager for his input, but here's what I know of. We did apply for upgrades to our HVAC system through the CARES Act. Those were also denied. In fact, they denied pretty much every capital project because they told us they didn't think we could get it done by the end of the year, or they thought we were just money grabbing, which was a little disheartening. So they denied that. So our facility manager has been working to explore opportunities for mobile air purifiers, and we actually have one that's scheduled to be delivered here pretty soon. It's a whole room air purifier, fairly large square footage. I don't know exactly, but the nice thing is it is on wheels, and so it does two things. It has an ionizer which acts to bond with the droplets of whatever it is, virus, particulates in the air, and drop them out more quickly. And then it also has a UV sanitation component. So what our plan is right now is that we are going to utilize that during the peak times. We have the ability to look in the facility and see where CO2 is high at what times, kind of on a trend basis. And so we're going to be using that in the administrative area during the times of day when it's highest. It's not extraordinarily high, but of course a lot of us have been working out of the office too, so it does go to show, how much it can increase in a small space. And then we'll also be utilizing it, I think, probably in our multi-purpose room during our after-school program, and then also probably in fitness rooms. We'd like to be able to do a spin class in a fitness room again at some point, so we may be able to utilize it there, but we haven't had a chance to test it out yet. So I don't know this, Dan, where we stand on the whole system upgrades, and perhaps the assistant city manager could speak to that
Mr. Feaser?
if he's there.
Yes.
Yep.
Honorable Mayor, City Council, before we entered the COVID-19, we did have projects outlined that were replacements of makeup air units and HVAC units that would have included all the ionization and the UV sensors, just like Ms. Guerin had indicated. We do still plan on moving forward with some of those projects. I think the best part of this one is that we do have enhancements to the HVAC within the office staffing, and we do have good turnaround and good air systems at the recreation center that I believe provide us a safe opportunity. And those additional units that we are getting will also make for a safer environment for our users and our staff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Let's see. Next, I had, Councilor, I can't remember who's in the queue. Is it Councilor Pierce or is it Vice Mayor Gabriel?
Mr. Mayor, I was in the queue next,
Okay.
but I'm going to say
Councilor Harrington, sorry.
yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. My question was about ventilation as well, and has been answered. Thank you.
Okay. Now, let's show hands. Let's see who's next. Vice Mayor Gabriel.
Thank you, Mayor. I was just curious, Jody or the contractors, project of this type will undoubtedly have some ramifications about disruptive service. And I was just curious if you could go over what kind of problems it might present for the public using the facility.
Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor Gabriel, Brandon has been great about creating a phased plan for how we're going to deconstruct and then reconstruct and still allow the public access. And he may want to pipe in terms of how we're going to block it off. But my understanding is generally when we start on this project, we're going to wall off with a temporary walling, kind of wall system, the area that is currently the front desk. We're going to take the operations of the front desk and move it up closer to the doors, sort of where we have the check-in station for temperature taking right now. So we'll have to figure out how we're going to split that up. But that's where our computer cables and electricity are. So that's our easiest place to set up, I think. The demolition that'll take place at the front desk and then in the playground area will take place first. That won't disrupt the existing office area. So the existing office area can continue to be used until that other area is demolished and then, constructed. So we should have a pretty small amount of time in the office area that we're kicked out. We have some temporary plans for utilizing the front conference room and then also the small conference room for that. And then once we get the new desk constructed, so it'll be deconstructed and then rebuilt, we'll move back into that area and then move across the hall to the area that hasn't been taken care of yet. That'll be the area where the turnstiles will go, and the area where we currently have the lobby will be getting new carpet. We'll be reconfiguring the computer stations and putting a door into the pool area from that space. Brandon, did I miss anything there?
No, that was pretty thorough, Jody. I would agree with what you said.
I think we'll probably also have some impacts to the parking on the north side of the building, but that doesn't get a lot of use by public. Usually that's an administrative area that mostly staff are parked over there.
Thanks, Jody.
Okay, other questions from council?
Mr. Mayor, one other thing I'll just point out. It's been nice that we've been able to continue to work with the original architect on these projects as we've developed conceptual plans. It certainly has streamlined our ability to move quickly and keep with, the original construction. We don't have to go back and figure out how the building was built again every time we try to do something. So that's been nice.
Thank you. All right, I think we're ready to go to ask if there's anyone in the public that would like to make comments or ask questions regarding this motion to have a construction manager at risk. All right, seeing none, council, any comments before we vote? See any hands? All right, let's vote on this item number 15.
Yes.
Yes, we can't hear you, Nancy.
Thank you. It's because I forgot to turn my mic back on. Pierce,
Yes.
Schuster,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
McKinney, absent. Stalder,
Yes.
Gabriel,
Yes.
Shumway.
Yes.
That's 8 yeses, 0 nos, and 1 absent, Your Honor.
All right. So that item number 15 passes for approval for a construction manager at risk. Next item is consideration of future council work session topics. Are there any on the council would like to make, Councilor O'Doherty?
I would like to have a session regarding wipes, like diaper wipes, polyester and polypropylene wipes being put in our sewer systems, because I know it's causing a lot of backups, especially in the tree area, but probably everywhere. So I would like us to consider ways to at least inform the public, maybe at retail places, that these are really not flushable, that they don't belong in this, they're in the sewer system. So I'm hoping we could do something about that. Thank you.
I second her motion.
Okay, so that will be a new item then. Anyone else with any items for future council work sessions? All right, seeing none, I will mention that there will not be, at this time, public comments, because the public comments at the end of our split session will be following the incoming council agenda. So at this time, then I would ask item number 17, Councilor Pierce.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that we adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. City Clerk, how long do you think we will need to have an adjournment?
Mayor, if we could just have 5 minutes, that should be good.
5 minutes. And then most of us will meet back together. Thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you, Mayor Shumway.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
We are going to resume. I'm going to call this meeting of the incoming City Council to order at 7:35. At this time, I'd like to go ahead and administer the oaths of office for all of the re-elected or newly incoming members. The first one on the list is incoming member Andy Somerville. Andy, if you could raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear or affirm.
I do solemnly swear
Or affirm.
or affirm
That I will support, obey, and defend.
that I will support, obey, and defend
The Constitution of the United States.
the Constitution of the United States
And the Constitution of the State of Wyoming.
and the Constitution of the State of Wyoming.
That I have not knowingly violated.
That I have not knowingly violated
Any law related to my election or appointment.
any law related to my election or appointment.
Or caused it to be done by others.
Or caused it to be done by others.
And that I will discharge the duties of my office.
And that I will discharge the duties of my office.
With fidelity.
With fidelity.
Congratulations, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Next we have Sharon Cumby. Sharon, if you could raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear or affirm.
I do solemnly swear and affirm
That I will support, obey, and defend.
that I will support, obey, and defend
The Constitution of the United States.
the Constitution of the United States
And the Constitution of the State of Wyoming.
and the Constitution of the State of Wyoming,
That I have not knowingly violated.
that I have not knowingly violated
Any law related to my election or appointment.
any law related to my election or appointment,
Or caused it to be done by others.
or caused it to be done by others,
And that I will discharge the duties of my office.
and that I will discharge the duties of my office
With fidelity.
with fidelity.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Next we have Jane Pierce. Jane, if you would raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear or affirm.
I do solemnly swear or affirm
That I will support, obey, and defend.
that I will support, obey, and defend
The Constitution of the United States.
the Constitution of the United States
And the Constitution of the State of Wyoming.
and the Constitution of the State of Wyoming,
That I have not knowingly violated.
that I have not knowingly violated
Any law related to my election or appointment.
any law related to my election or appointment,
Or caused it to be done by others.
or caused it to be done by others,
And that I will discharge the duties of my office.
and that I will discharge the duties of my office
With fidelity.
with fidelity.
Congratulations on your re-election.
Okay, thank you.
Brian Harrington. If you would raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear or affirm.
I do solemnly swear or affirm
That I will support, obey, and defend.
that I will support, obey, and defend
The Constitution of the United States.
the Constitution of the United States
And the Constitution of the State of Wyoming.
and the Constitution of the State of Wyoming,
That I have not knowingly violated.
that I have not knowingly violated
Any law related to my election or appointment.
any law relating to my election or appointment,
Or caused it to be done by others.
or caused it to be done by others,
And that I will discharge the duties of my office.
and that I will discharge the duties of my office
With fidelity.
with fidelity.
Congratulations on your re-election. Pat Gabriel. If you would raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear or affirm.
I do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support, obey, and defend
I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Wyoming,
and the Constitution of the State of Wyoming,
that I have not knowingly violated
that I have not knowingly violated
any law related to my election or
any law
appointment
related to my election
or appointment,
or appointment,
or caused it to be done by others,
or caused it to be done by others.
and that I will discharge the duties of my office
I will discharge the duties of my office
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
Congratulations on your reelection.
Thank you.
All right, that concludes our oaths of office for the newly elected. At this time, we'll do roll call. Cumby,
Here.
Gabriel,
Here,
Harrington,
Here.
O'Doherty,
Here.
Pierce,
Here.
Schuster,
Here.
Stalder,
Here.
Somerville,
Here.
Weaver.
Here.
That's 9 present and 0 absent. At this time, we have a game of chance to determine seniority of members of equal years of service. The member with the most years of service is Counselor Pierce. Next is Counselor Schuster, followed by Counselor Gabriel. And then we have a tie for O'Doherty, Stalder, and Weaver. Thank you. Oh,
Harrington.
Nancy, I'm on that list as well.
thank you. I knew there was another, it wasn't in my list. Oh, yep, thank you. So we have a tie between Harrington, O'Doherty, Stalder, and Weaver. So at this time, this is a new deck of cards. We'll go ahead and shuffle.
I still think I'll let them do rock, paper, scissors on video.
What would the council prefer?
No, cards is
No?
what you gotta do.
Okay, we'll do the cards. All right. So, city manager, would you like to assist? Sure. So we'll do Counselor Harrington. Four of spades. Okay. We have the 4 of spades. Next, we have Counselor O'Doherty. Jack of diamonds. Jack of diamonds. Next, Counselor Stalder. Six of hearts. I almost lost the stack. 6 of hearts. And next is Weaver. Two of clubs. And 2 of clubs. Okay, so with that, we have O'Doherty, Stalder.
May I defer because I had the best card last time, so I would like to move to the bottom of the list.
I see no reason if the council agrees to it.
It's very nice for her.
Okay, so we have, with that, we'll have Stalder, followed by Harrington, and then Weaver, and O'Doherty. Okay, the next tie that we need to establish seniority is with Cumby and Somerville. Let me go ahead and shuffle the rest of these here really quick. First we have Cumby. Okay, so 3 of diamonds. 3 of diamonds. And Somerville. King of Spades. So we have Somerville and Cumbie. All right, at this time, we're going to go to item number 4 on the agenda, election of mayor and president of the Laramie City Council. Councilor Pierce, who do you nominate for mayor and president of City Council?
I'd like to nominate Paul Weaver for mayor.
Councilor Schuster, who do you nominate for mayor and president of council?
Pat Gabriel.
Councilor Gabriel, who do you nominate for mayor and president of City Council?
No nomination.
Councilor Stalder, who do you nominate for mayor and president of City Council?
Pat Gabriel?
Councilor Harrington, who do you nominate for mayor and president of City Council?
I have no nomination.
Councilor Weaver, who do you nominate for mayor and president of City Council?
No nomination.
Councilor O'Doherty, who do you nominate for mayor and president of City Council?
I would be seconding the nomination for Paul Weaver.
Councilor Somerville, who do you nominate for mayor and president of City Council?
No nomination.
Councilor Cumbie, who do you nominate for mayor and president of City Council?
No nomination.
Okay, with that, the nominations are Pat Gabriel and Paul Weaver. At this time, we will move to your vote for mayor and president of City Council. Councilmember Pierce, who do you vote for?
Paul Weaver.
Councilor Schuster, who do you vote for?
Counselor Gabriel.
Councilor Gabriel, who do you vote for?
Pat Gabriel?
Councilor Stalder, who do you vote for?
Councilor Gabriel?
Councilor Harrington, who do you vote for?
Councilor Weaver.
Councilor Weaver, who do you vote for?
I vote for Paul Weaver.
Councilor O'Doherty, who do you vote for?
Paul Weaver.
Councilor Somerville, who do you vote for?
Paul Weaver.
Councilor Cumbie, who do you vote for?
Paul Weaver.
Okay, the tally of the votes shows that there were 3 votes for Pat Gabriel, and six votes for Paul Weaver. With that, we have a majority vote from council for Paul Weaver. At this time, if we could move into a motion for Resolution 2021-02, appointing the mayor and president of the Council of the City of Laramie, Wyoming, for the years 2021 to 2022.
Thank you. I will go ahead and do that, please. I move that council approve Resolution 2021-02, appointing council member Paul Weaver as the mayor and president of the Council of the City of Laramie, Wyoming for the years of 2021 to 2022, and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign.
Second.
Okay, with that, is there any council discussion? Okay, any public comment? Okay, with that, we'll move to roll call. Cumby,
Yes.
Gabriel,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
O'Doherty,
Yes.
Pierce,
Yes.
Schuster,
Yes.
Stalder,
Yes.
Somerville,
Yes.
Weaver.
Yes.
That's 9 yeses and 0 nos. With that, I would like to turn the meeting over to our new mayor, Paul Weaver.
Thank you, City Clerk. All right, everybody, let's move to the next item, and thank you very much. I will do my best with this job. That's going to largely be dependent on how well we all work together as usual. And let's get right to it and move into the next item, which is the nominations and election of the vice mayor and vice president of Laramie City Council. Do we take those nominations in the rank order that we determined previously, City Clerk?
Ordinance just states that we receive nominations from each council member, mayor, so in whatever order you would like.
All right, we'll just go around then. Councilor Stalder, do you have any nominations?
I have no nominations.
All right. Councilor Schuster, do you have any nominations?
Yes, I nominate myself.
Good. Councilor Harrington, do you have any nominations?
Thank you, Mayor. I would nominate Councilor Pierce.
Councilor O'Doherty, do you have any nominations?
I'd second the nomination for Councilor Pierce.
Councilor Gabriel, do you have any nominations?
I would nominate myself.
Councilor Cumby, do you have any nominations?
I have no further nominations.
Councilor Somerville, do you have any nominations?
I have no nominations.
Councilor Pierce, do you have any nominations?
No, I do not. Thank you.
Any other nominations from the council?
Mayor, do you have a nomination?
I do not. All right, closing nominations for vice mayor. City Clerk.
With that, Mayor, I'd just like to state that the nominations that were received, if that's okay.
Please.
We have nominations for Councilor Schuster, Councilor Pierce, and Councilor Gabriel.
All right. All those in favor of the
Point of order.
Councilor O'Doherty.
Could we just ask each counselor who their choice is rather than?
Certainly. And you can start, Councilor O'Doherty.
I vote for Councilor Pierce for vice mayor.
All right. Councilor Somerville, your vote.
I vote for Councilor Pierce.
Councilor Cumby, your vote.
I vote for Councilor Pierce.
Councilor Stalder.
I vote for Councilor Schuster.
Councilor Harrington.
Councilor Pierce.
Councilor Schuster.
Vote for myself.
Councilor Gabriel.
I'll vote for myself.
Councilor, have I missed anyone but Councilor Pierce?
I'll vote for myself.
And Mr. Mayor, do you have any nominations or votes?
I will vote for Councilor Pierce.
Okay, with that, Mr. Mayor, we have 2 votes for Schuster, 1 vote for Gabriel, and 6 votes for Pierce.
Thank you. The next item on our agenda will be to move to Resolution 2021-03, appointing the Vice Mayor and Vice President of the City Council of the City of Laramie, Wyoming for the years 2021, 2022. Does anyone want to formally introduce that? Councilor Member Harrington.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that council approve Resolution 2021-03, appointing Councilmember Pierce as the Vice Mayor and Vice President of the City Council of the City of Laramie, Wyoming for the years of 2021 through 2022, and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion, or seeing no discussion, are there any public comments, City Clerk?
I see none, Mr. Mayor.
I see Councilmember O'Doherty seeking recognition.
I just see a typo in the cover letter that's attached in the agenda, so that needs to be corrected to reflect that it's 2021-03. It was stated properly, but the hyperlink goes to the wrong number. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember O'Doherty. I think the city clerk caught that. All right. Any other discussion? City clerk, whenever you're ready for the vote.
Cumby,
Yes.
Gabriel,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
O'Doherty,
Yes.
Pierce,
Yes.
Schuster,
Yes.
Stalder,
Yes.
Somerville,
Yes.
Weaver.
Yes.
That's 9 yeses and 0 nos, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. And congratulations, Vice Mayor Pierce. And thank you everyone else for your service and your willingness to step up for positions. It's important. Let's move now to the seat selection. It's going to be a little different than usual because we're doing it remotely, and some of us are doing it for the first time remotely, and that's a little bit of a challenge, but I think we've got it up there on the display. Thank you, City Clerk, and we'll choose the seats by the seniority determined by the game of chance. Is that correct, City Clerk?
That is correct, Mayor.
Thank you. So the first person to be able to choose their seat after Councilmember Pierce was, and I need a reminder, I'm sorry, I believe it was Schuster, but I'm not entirely sure.
That is correct, Mayor. I will take the closest one to our city clerk, so it looks like it is 9.
All right. Then the next individual in order, I believe, was Councilor Stalder.
Councilor Gabriel.
Mr. Mayor.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's Councilor Gabriel. I thank you so much. Councilor Gabriel, I apologize.
No problem. Let's see here. If I was going to move here, Nancy, that would be what number?
That would be number 3.
Number 3 it is.
Councilmember Gabriel takes seat number 3, and then I think I'm correct in saying that it is Councilmember Stalder.
Correct.
I will take seat number 8.
All right, thank you. That's seat number 8 for Councilmember Stalder. And Councilmember Harrington.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to take number 6.
Takes number 6. Councilmember O'Doherty.
I guess I'll take 7 on the warm side. Thank you.
Is it warmer on that side? That's what Klaus Hansen used to say. Maybe it is. I don't know. All right. let's go, and I'm so sorry about the order. I cannot now remember if it was, I'm already doing a great job, people. I can't remember if it was Counselor Cumby or Counselor Somerville.
Somerville, Mr.
All
Mayor.
right, Councilmember Somerville, where do you want to sit?
I'm going to take seat number 1.
Okay. All right, and Councilmember Cumby, where were we on the chart? Where would you like to sit?
I will sit in the last seat available, number 2.
All right. Okay, well, that excitement is past us now. And you can print this out at home and draw a small picture of yourself sitting on the chart if you'd like. All right. We've done the seat selection, and now we need to move to consideration of changes in the agenda and the setting of the agenda for the Vice Mayor.
Okay, thank you. I move that the following changes to the agenda be approved: to add item 11A, lowercase d, schedule meetings, canceling Saturday, January 16, 2021, work session, council retreat.
Second.
City Clerk, do we do roll call on this, or do I just go ahead and then set the agenda as changed?
If Mr. Mayor would call for a voice vote.
Let's do the voice vote for this item. I'm sorry, folks, I was muted before. Let's go right to the voice vote on this. City Clerk, you're muted now, unfortunately. Oh, there you go.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries.
All right, that motion carries. And we'll now go into the next item, which will be that the any proclamations.
So Mayor, if we could go back, I move that the agenda be set as changed.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we completed that. Yes, let's go to that. And that's been moved and seconded. And City Clerk, let's just go to the vote.
Mr. Mayor, would you like a voice vote or a roll call?
Voice vote is fine.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries.
All right, that motion carries. Thank you very much. All right, now we're on to item number 8. Number 8A, proclamations and presentations, are proclamations and public hearings, notifications. So 8A is proclamations and presentations. Do we have any?
We have none tonight, Mr. Mayor.
All right, no proclamations for the first meeting. Do we have any public hearings? We do not. Do we have any announcements?
Mayor, we do not.
No announcements. Do we have any disclosures by council members on items on the agenda this evening? Seeing none. Moving on and to the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that the consent agenda be approved and that each specific action on the consent agenda be approved as indicated.
Second.
All right, that's been moved and seconded. City Clerk, why don't we do a roll call vote on that?
Cumby,
Yes.
Gabriel,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
O'Doherty,
Yes.
Schuster,
Yes.
Stalder,
Yes.
Somerville,
Yes.
Pierce,
Yes.
Weaver.
Yes.
That's 9 yeses and 0 nos, Your Honor.
All right, that motion carries. And we will move into our regular agenda. which is bulleted as item 12, but I believe the first regular agenda item is item number 13, which is resolution 2021-4, to appoint the membership to serve as liaisons or voting members to the boards and commissions. Who would like to introduce that item?
Point of order, those were already assigned to people before the meeting started. So those have already been assigned.
Oh, for the new council, did we do that in the pre-meeting? All right.
Yes, we did.
So whoever signed up for that, please.
Okay, thank you. The title resolution 2021-4, appointing council members for the city of Laramie, Wyoming to serve as liaisons or voting members for each board and commission for the city of Laramie, Wyoming. I move that the city council approve resolution 2021-04, appointing council members for the city of Laramie, Wyoming to serve as a liaison or a voting member to each board and commission for the city of Laramie, Wyoming, and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign.
Second.
Okay, that's been moved and seconded. And thank you, Councilor Schuster, for that. The procedure, I believe now we follow the ranking system, and you will follow that order, choose your preferences for your seats. Councilor Cumby, I'm not certain if you had any questions about some of this procedure, having joined us somewhat later towards the beginning of this meeting.
No, I don't. I've been here. No, I have no questions. Thank you.
Okay, all right, yeah, I wasn't precisely sure when you joined us. That's fine, that's great. City Clerk, I have one question about the procedure. Do we start with the council member in first order, then move to last, then start with the last and move back? Okay.
That is correct, Mr. Mayor.
All right, well, why don't we then begin following the order? And I believe that was Council Member Pierce. Vice Mayor Pierce.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to start off and pick the Finance Committee.
All right, and then we will go to Councilor Schuster.
Thank you. I also will do Finance Committee, and usually the mayor is the third person on Finance Committee, so I will mention that to you since there's only 3 positions.
I appreciate that, Councilor Schuster. Thank you. Given my ranking, I don't know if we're going to break. I don't know if we're going to break with tradition or not. But in my experience, that's also been the case. Councilmember Gabriel.
Parks, Tree, and Rec Board.
Excellent.
You know
All
about
right.
that.
I'm glad you're there. I won't speak for anybody else. All right, then Councilmember Stalder.
Sorry, had to unmute myself. I will take the LCBA.
All right, Councilmember Harrington.
Mr. Mayor, I'm going to take the Planning Commission.
All right, and I will take Finance and follow the new Dean of the Council's advice to stick with tradition, which would be the person that cumulatively has served the longest on the City Council now, Councilmember Schuster. Used to be Joe Shumway, not anymore. All right. Let's move on to the next choices, which will be Council Member O'Doherty.
Environmental Advisory Committee.
Thank you. And let's go to Councilmember Somerville.
Laramie Town and Gown Association.
Thank you. And let's go to Councilmember Cumby.
Board of Health.
Thank you. And your choice again, Councilmember Cumby. Your next choice.
Laramie Advisory Commission on Disabilities.
Thank you. Councilmember Somerville.
I'll take Main Street Alliance and DDA.
Thank you. Councilmember O'Doherty.
Can I pass?
Yes.
I will take another one, but I just don't have a second choice right now.
Yes, I believe we've done that before. And then we'll go to, I guess it's me. I will take Juvenile Services Board.
I'm sorry.
Councilmember Herring.
Can you say that one more time, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, the Juvenile Services Board.
Thank you.
Sure. And Councilmember Harrington.
I'm going to take the Laramie Public Art Coalition.
LPAC. All right. Councilmember Stalder.
Thank you. I would like the Local Emergency Planning Committee.
All right. Thank you. Councilmember Gabriel.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, can I have you repeat that last?
Councilmember Stalder indicated the Emergency Services Advisory Commission, I think it is.
Local Emergency Planning Committee.
Local Emergency, I was way off. Local Emergency Planning Committee.
Mr. Mayor, I would just like to note on that committee that I found out today our sheet was incorrect as to when they meet. So just to let Councilor Stalder know, they meet on the first Monday as indicated in that attachment A.
Does that change anything for you, Councilor Stalder? All right. Councilmember Gabriel?
Tourism Board.
All right. Councilmember Schuster?
Building and Fire Code Board of Appeals.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Pierce?
Let's see. Urban Systems Advisory.
And your choice again for your third.
Oh man. I'm going down my makeshift list here. How about the Monolith Ranch?
Ranch Committee. Thank you. Councilmember Schuster?
Laramie Railroad Depot Association Board.
Good. Councilmember Gabriel?
I'm going to pass for right now.
All right, pass. Councilmember Stalder?
I would love to keep the Laramie Airport Board.
Airport Board, good, okay. Councilmember Harrington?
I will also take Urban Systems.
All right. I will choose the LCCC Albany County Campus Advisory Council.
I believe our city clerk has her hand up.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to make note that the Civil Service Commission does have a seat for the mayor.
Suppose I'd better take that before I take something else.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, I don't think you're going to get to pick anything on your own.
That's all right. So then I'll take that assigned seat, if you will, for the civil service. So then we're to Councilmember O'Doherty.
Is Youth Council?
Has not been.
Oh,
Three
choose
spots.
that.
Okay, Youth Council. Good. Councilmember Somerville?
Just looking here. How about the Pilot Hill Project Committee.
I have to interrupt on that one. The county selects you. You do not select them.
So, Mr. Mayor, if I could, I would just say that has transitioned from the sort of planning commission that Councilor Schuster served on to the board selecting their own membership, which I was selected to.
All right, so why don't we find out from those making the selections now if they're happy with Councilmember Somerville, and until we find out differently, we'll assume that's the case. And if something's changed, or if it hasn't yet formally changed, as Councilmember Schuster provided, then we'll figure it out from there. But we'll put it as a Councilmember Somerville. We'll put it as your placeholder third choice for now. Okay.
Mr. Mayor, that's fine. If Councilor Harrington was already selected to represent the city through the transition, I'm fine deferring to him.
Councilmember Harrington, what do we know about that?
My understanding is that is the case. So yeah, I was selected about a month ago. I applied to serve on their board as a resident of the city of Laramie, and was accepted instead as an ex officio member for the city. It's not an official liaison position, but I had told former Mayor Shumway that I would keep you all abreast of what's going on.
All right. All right.
Mr. Mayor, with that, I'm happy to make another choice and leave that one as it sits.
All right. Thank you, Councilor Somerville. Please go ahead.
Let's see. How about the LCCC Advisory Council?
Great. Thank you very much for your flexibility, everybody, and explaining the workings of a couple of those committees. It's good information. All right, Councilmember Cumby.
Youth Council.
Okay. And let's see, do we just keep going until these are all filled up, City Clerk? I believe so. We still have a few more.
That's correct, Mr. Mayor.
All right, Councilmember Cumby, do you have another choice? I know we have some traffic commission, newly reformed traffic commission membership open.
Yeah, I don't think I can make a 7 a.m. meeting.
I understand. It's always popular.
I'm going to pass for right now.
Okay. Councilmember Somerville.
Okay. I will take. I will take the beautification committee.
All right. Thank you. Councilmember O'Doherty.
How about Urban Systems Advisory? Is that one that also has a spot for the mayor?
I'm unsure.
They've not insisted on that. No, not at all. But he was on it last time. Yes.
All right. So urban systems then, Councilor O'Doherty. Thank you. And that brings us to me again. Are there any that I'm required to serve on that I have not yet affirmed that I will serve on, City Clerk? Or Councilor, there's somebody that knows.
None of the existing, I don't see any requirements on. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I will go for the Albany County Transportation Authority, although I do have a slight quick, is that even, it's been expanded, has it not?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah, so
Mayor, it's been rescinded by the county or disbanded.
Yeah, so that's not even an option. It's on our list. We should probably get that one edited. All right, let's see. Has anyone chosen the Recreation Board?
I have, Mayor.
Oh, okay.
I thought that was Parks, Trees, and Recreation Advisory Board.
They're listed separately here, I think.
There's
Oh, no, they're not. I'm sorry. I'm just confused. Here I am trying to find something I want to do.
Mr. Mayor, point of information.
Yes, please.
I think the Albany County Recreation Board is still open. I would
Yes,
stand to be corrected by the city clerk.
that was the one I was inquiring about, was the Albany County Recreation Board.
I believe that's one still open to you.
And Councilor Gabriel, you're on the Parks, Tree, and Recreation Advisory. Is that, am I correct?
That is correct.
That's correct.
All right, then I'll stick with that original choice for the Rec Board, Albany County Recreation Board.
And Mayor, the city manager had her hand up.
Please, City Manager.
Mayor, I just wanted to offer that there are other incidental, oftentimes ad hoc committees that the mayor is appointed to throughout the year that are really anticipatable at this time. So that's something you may keep in mind as you're making selections.
I will unfortunately try very hard to keep that in mind. Maybe I shouldn't be adding too many other things.
Mayor, I would recommend that you just pass.
All right. I will pass. The Albany County Rec Board is open. Councilmember Harrington.
I'm going to take the Youth Council.
Good. Councilmember Stalder.
I will take the rifle range.
Rifle Range.
Sorry, Councilor Schuster.
I'm a board member. I cannot be the liaison.
Oh,
Councilmember Gabriel.
I'm going to take one of those unanticipated board positions coming up. I'll be available
I'm sorry, I missed it.
for one of those anticipated that the city manager talked about.
You want to pass? You want to pass, Councilor Gabriel? Okay. All right. Then let's move to Councilor Schuster.
Has someone taken the Wyoming Territorial Park Board?
They have not.
I will take that.
Thank you. Good. Vice Mayor Pierce.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Somebody needs to help me out here to see what's available. I've been trying to keep track, but I believe we have Traffic Commission remaining. And I
And
believe
urban systems.
Yeah.
Urban systems, we now have 3, is that correct?
Vice Mayor, if you'll allow me, if we could get perhaps a quick summary, and if you need a minute, City Clerk, of the remaining positions open on committees, that would be helpful for everyone, if there's no objection.
Mayor, while Nancy looks at that, this is Janine, and I would offer the same advice for the vice mayor. There are for mayor, vice mayor, various assignments that come up through the year that we just don't know about. So, Jane, you may also want to take that into account.
Thank you. So I too will go ahead and pass.
Urban Systems Advisory meets somewhat infrequently, is that correct?
Once a year.
Once a year. So that's something to also.
They were all
Yeah,
three taken. I already asked.
Yeah, it's full.
Okay.
Wait, who were the 3 then?
If you'd like, Mr. Mayor, I can read through the list here.
I think it would be good, and I feel like a lot of people are getting pretty loaded up. But I also do recall that some of these committees meet far less frequently than others. And so it would be good to just kind of go through and let everyone take stock. So that would be great, City Clerk.
Okay. The one vacancy that I do show is Traffic Commission, but I'll start at the top and we'll work our way through. Board of Health, we have Cumbie. Building, Fire and Code Board of Appeals, Schuster. Downtown Development Authority and Main Street Alliance, Somerville. Environmental Advisory Committee, O'Doherty. Laramie Advisory Commission on Disabilities, Cumbie. Parks, Tree, and Recreation Advisory Board, Gabriel. Planning Commission, Harrington. Monolith Ranch Committee, Pierce. Traffic Commission is open. Finance Committee, we have Pierce, Schuster, and Weaver. Local Emergency Planning Committee, Stalder. Urban Systems Advisory Committee, Pierce, Harrington, and O'Doherty. Civil Service Commission, Weaver. Albany County Recreation Board is open. Albany County Tourism Board is Gabriel. Laramie Regional Airport is Stalder. Community Juvenile Services Board is Weaver. LCCC Advisory Council is Somerville. Laramie Chamber Business Alliance Beautification Committee is Somerville. Laramie Chamber Business Alliance is Stalder. Laramie Public Art Coalition is Harrington. Laramie Railroad Depot is Schuster. Laramie Rifle Range is Stalder. Wyoming Territorial Park is Schuster. Laramie Town and Gown is Somerville. Pilot Hill Project is Harrington. And the Youth Council is O'Doherty, Cumbie, and Harrington. So it looks like we have two positions, Traffic Commission and Albany County Rec Board, Mr. Mayor.
And I have promptly forgotten where we were in order of choices. Do we have a council member willing to step forward now to take a position with the Traffic Commission? I would also state about the Traffic Commission, I'm not certain that the 7 a.m. meeting time is set in stone for the rest of time. I think the new Traffic Commission, once convened, may have some input on that, but correct me, anyone, if I'm wrong, members of the staff or anyone else. I see Councilor.
I'm willing to serve on Traffic Commission again. The 7 a.m. is up for discussion, but it was the only reason I shied away is the 7 a.m. But I can do it. I've done it, and I'll do it some more if you want me.
Councilmember Cumbie, I'm sorry, I saw you trying to.
I was just going to say I'd be willing to serve on it as well.
All right. City Clerk, did you have something for us?
Assistant City Manager Feeser was just commenting that the Albany County Rec Board meets quarterly.
All right. Well,
So I'll take Traffic Commission, if that's
all right.
okay.
Councilor O'Doherty for Traffic Commission, thank you very much. Is there a council member that wants to join as our liaison for the quarterly meetings of the Rec Board? That's it.
Mayor,
Oh,
I would be happy to.
No objections to those positions? All right. Thank you both for doing that, and everyone else for being willing to entertain and consider. I think this is where the real time gets consumed by serving on the city council is your boards and commissions meetings, and several people have signed up for several time-consuming boards and commissions, but we definitely appreciate it. At this point, with the choices having been made, I think we need to now move into any discussion, if need be, on the resolution and any the next steps. Is there any further discussion on these appointments before they're made? I'm not seeing any from the council. Is there any public comment?
I see none, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Well, with no other discussion and no comment, then I would say that we now need to move to a roll call vote for these appointments for the next 2 years.
Can I make a quick comment, please?
Councilor Schuster, please.
Thank you. I don't know if we need to get Councilor Harrington to contact Derek Teeney, but the agenda and everything has already been sent out for next Monday's meeting. So you might possibly want to get in touch with him so that you can look at everything, because there is a meeting next Monday.
Thank you, Councilor Schuster, through you, Mr. Mayor. And I'm going to send you the Zoom information, Councilor Schuster, for the Territorial Park Board as well.
Thank you, council members. I appreciate that very much. Helps keep things going. Everyone else, for your upcoming meetings, typically you'll get your notifications from the city staff folks that run those in a very timely fashion. So check your email and you'll know when things are happening. For those that are from the some of the outside groups, I'm not sure what the notification process is in terms of council membership, changeovers, for instance, for the Chamber Business Alliance and so forth, but I know those communications will be taken care of. If there's not anything else, let's move to the roll call vote. Oh, Councilor O'Doherty.
Yeah, I suggest that everybody that's on a committee now pass it on to the person that's going to that committee.
You may suggest that. It's a good suggestion. Thank you. All right, let's go to the roll call vote for these appointments.
Cumby. Counselor Cumby, I'm sorry.
Oh.
She doesn't
Yes.
probably.
Gabriel.
Yes?
Harrington.
Yes.
O'Doherty.
Yes.
Pierce.
Yes.
Little D there. Sorry, I've got to get used to having you in a different order now. Schuster.
Yes.
Stalder.
Yes.
Somerville.
Yes.
Weaver.
Yes.
That's 9 yeses and 0 no's, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for helping me stumble through that. Thank you for taking your positions as liaison. Let's move on to the next item, which is Resolution 2021-05. And as council members reminded me, that's already been assigned. So,
Yes, I've got that one.
all right. Thank you, Councilor Doherty.
I move that council approve resolution number 2021-05, designating the Laramie Daily Boomerang as the official legal newspaper of the city of Laramie, Wyoming for the calendar years 2021 and 2022, and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. This, I believe, is a statutorily required task for the council to choose a newspaper of record in the local community to publish all the notices in. Is there any discussion or anything that any council members want to share about this? Councilor Doherty?
I just want to share that I think it's really important to have a local newspaper, and I know municipalities would like to not have that expense, but I think it's important because you're not going to be looking for legal notices necessarily on your own, like what legal notices are there. I think I'll go check the city. So I think it's important that it's in a newspaper, and I think more people should use our newspaper. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Doherty. I would note that I believe there is legislation filed right now to change this statutory requirement. So if you have feelings about this one way or the other, that might be something to investigate. Does anybody else have anything they want to add? Is there anybody that wants to make public comment, City Clerk, on this topic?
I see none, Mr. Mayor.
All right, last chance for any input on this. Let's move to roll call vote.
Somerville.
Yes.
Stalder.
Yes.
Schuster.
Yes.
O'Doherty.
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
Gabriel.
Yes?
Cumby.
Yes.
Pierce.
Yes.
Weaver.
Yes.
That's 9 yeses and 0 no's, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you very much. Who was assigned item number 15?
Councilor Stalder.
Thank you.
That is
Councilor Calvin, here we go.
I move that council approve resolution 2021-06, setting the time, date, and location of pre-council meetings, regular meetings, work session meetings, and public hearings of the city council, and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign.
Second.
That's been moved and seconded. Discussion? Not seeing any. City Clerk, anyone from the public?
I see no one, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Just checking one more time. I'm not seeing anybody seeking recognition, so let's move to the roll call vote.
Schuster,
Yes.
O'Doherty,
Yes.
Cumby,
Yes.
Gabriel,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
Stalder,
Yes.
Somerville,
Yes.
Pierce,
Yes.
Weaver.
Yes.
That's 9 yeses and 0 no's, Your Honor.
All right, that motion carries. Now we're on to item number 16, and that was assigned to Councilor Somerville.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that the Laramie City Council approve Resolution 2021-07, modifying Resolution 2020-24, suspending City of Laramie City Council Code of Conduct Rule 1 and Article 2, Chapter 2, Section 10, requiring all council members to attend council meetings and work sessions by telephone or web conferencing with compensation during the COVID-19 pandemic without it counting towards the annual 5-meeting allowance, and directing all staff members and public to attend council meetings and work sessions via telephone or web conferencing only, and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion. Councilor Somerville.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a brief explanation. This resolution would basically put us all on a web conferencing platform for council meetings and work sessions. If you'll note at the end of the resolution, it says it is effective until rescinded by council or the end of the COVID-19 pandemic is declared. A couple of reasons that I brought this forward. Some concern expressed to me by people that have attended meetings, both about COVID precautions, even though we've made some pretty good modifications to the chambers, as well as just generally having council members in chamber and on Zoom is pretty disjointed, and it's sometimes very difficult to follow. So this is in line with what numerous government agencies are doing right now. It works pretty well for the Wyoming legislature, and so I'd like us to consider this resolution, which would move us all to web conferencing, or you could call in via telephone until the council rescinds it or COVID-19 goes away.
Any further discussion? I think I have Councilor Schuster, then Harrington. Councilor Schuster.
Thank you very much. I like being here in chambers. I like to talk to different staff. I will not be supporting this in any way, shape, or form. I feel this is fairly much a violation, that we should be able to have choices here and not have people make choices for us. Thank you very much.
Further discussion, Councilor Harrington, then Councilor Stalder. Councilor Harrington.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would be curious, would we continue our contract with the company that provides the streaming and camera work? I feel like that's a pretty specialized skill, and we would hate to, I personally would hate to pull a contract from them in the midst of everything else.
It's a great question. Is someone from the staff able to, City Clerk, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In order to continue the cable channel feed that we currently use on cable channel 191, we would need to continue services with TK Enterprise. They also do our live streaming to YouTube.
Thank you very much. Councilor Stalder.
Thank you. I agree with Councilor Schuster. I think it should be a choice. I think what we did with having everybody in chambers be on their own little Brady Bunch box is a good compromise. But if people still want to attend in person, I think that's still an option. Thank you.
Thank you. I saw Councilor Gabriel and then Councilor O'Doherty, then Councilor Cumby. I'm just going to say these things out so you know that I've seen you. and in what order I saw you raise your hand. Councilor Gabriel?
Thank you, Mayor. I was just curious from staff standpoint, how you might react to this. Does it meet your, the technology is all doable, or do you see any particular problems with it?
Councilor Gabriel, I'm going to suggest that it's a difficult question to ask the staff. I'm not saying you can't ask that question. You can ask whatever question you want, but I think it puts the staff in a difficult position where they have to basically pick a side in a discussion where we've heard some council members opposed and some council members in favor of this, where the staff is going to have to come in if we have council members there or not. And I think that's a tough place to put them. I don't know if you agree with that, but perhaps I'm not understanding your question. Maybe you're asking from a technical perspective if that's going to work for them. Can you help me out with that? Councilor Gabriel, are you coming more from making sure that they can do that without people present in the chamber?
Exactly.
All right, thank you, Councilor Gabriel. I appreciate that, and I apologize for stepping there, but I just wanted to make sure. City Clerk.
Mr. Mayor, from the City Clerk's office, it is possible for us not to be in chambers anymore. However, we probably would be in the building still to provide assistance to the technical staff from TK Enterprise in case that we had technology issues. We also have to turn on the TVs, which can be done ahead of time as well, but there are a few technical things there, but at the wish of the council, that's kind of where we are.
I see. Let's see. I had, thank you, Councilor Gabriel. And again, let me apologize. I just wanted to clarify about that question. So I appreciate your patience with that. Councilor Doherty, I think you are up next.
My objection to being in chambers is that, as we've learned, the virus is transmitted through aerosols. It used to be considered droplets, so that having your bubble would prevent, or we thought it would prevent the spread. But now we know it's more like an aerosol. It could spread through aerosols. So by being in chambers, we're endangering our staff, and I'm not comfortable with that. So I'm in favor of this resolution. Thank you.
Councilmember Cumby, I had you next.
And adding to Councilor O'Doherty, COVID is a highly infectious viral disease. Most recently, the COVID variant strain, which has pretty much shut down Great Britain, has been identified in the United States, in Colorado, California, Florida, New York. And with that type of spread, one assumes that it is present throughout the United States. This variant strain is 50 to 70% more infectious than the current strain. And I think it presents significant risk. I respect people's right to do and behave the way that they want, but I also have a concern about the staff, and if the presence of counselors in chambers then requires staff to be present in chambers, and it takes away their ability to have a choice. So I believe we need to set an example for the community and to practice some of the public health behaviors that we're trying to promote among community members. Thank you very much.
Any further discussion on this item before we go to public comment and then back? Not seeing anybody. City Clerk, do we have anyone that wanted to weigh in from the public on this item?
I see none, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Back to the council for input on this item. I am not seeing any further recognition. I'll say I have a question regarding the revocation. My understanding is that if we create a temporary rule, or whatever you call it with this resolution, to rescind that, the council can do that at any time. Is that correct? Is that the way this is currently phrased, regardless of whether or not there's been a declaration of an end to a state or national emergency, or the virus pandemic is still ongoing? The council can at any time choose. Councilor Somerville, I see you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I would defer to our city attorney for any input as well, but that is my intention, and that's how I phrased it, so that this could be rescinded at any time through resolution by a simple majority vote of the council. So if conditions improve on the ground in Laramie, and we've gone a while without cases, or we're advised by public health that the risk is low, that the council could take that action to open the chambers up again, either hybrid or full mode, whatever the council's pleasure was.
All right, I think that answers that question. I don't know if anybody from staff has anything that they want to add to that. I don't see anyone. Of course, the only staff member I see is the city. All right, with that,
This is Bob Southern. Yeah, a resolution can be changed at the will of council with a new resolution.
thank you. I appreciate that. Any comment before we move to the vote? Seeing none, let's move to a roll call vote.
Somerville,
Yes.
Stelter,
No.
Schuster,
No.
Pierce,
Yes.
O'Doherty,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
Gabriel,
No.
Cumby,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes,
that's 6 yeses and 3 noes, Your Honor.
that motion carries. Moving on to the next item is the public comment period reserved at the end of meetings. I don't know if all of a sudden we've had a whole bunch of people sign up for public comment.
We received no requests ahead of time, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, City Clerk. All right. Then let's move to item number 18. We've done this once with the old council this evening, which is consideration of future council work session topics. Does anyone have any work session topics that they want to add that we're not looking at already? Okay. Then, Councilor Schuster, I believe the honor is yours.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor, City Clerk, I think you're supposed to ask that question. Maybe I asked that question, I don't know. Say aye.
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 This meeting is adjourned, and here we are. This is the City Council for 2021, 2022. We'll see you at the next meeting.